everyone, and welcome you all back to the session number 4 of the chapter number 2, which is going on physical quantities and measurement. In this session, we will learn about remaining all the content from the syllabus, from the chapter. Okay, but let me recall what we have learned earlier, right? So in this chapter, in previous 3 sessions, we discussed on density. We discussed about the definition of the density. Even we have discussed about the formula of density. Then after we have learned about SI and CGS units of density. Even we have learned and we have seen practically that for irregular solid how we will calculate the density. And next one about the liquid. Even if given any type of liquid, how you will find out the density of given liquid. We have seen it. Next one, we have seen that floating and sinking based on densities, right? And I hope you have understood this concept, why the object used to float or why the object is sinking, right? The basic reason will be density. More density, that object obviously will go down, right? And whatever object having less density, it can float. Next one, now it is time to learn about very interesting thing, that is Archimedes principle. In earlier session, I have taught you, I have said you the story of Archimedes, right? I think you remember. So from that story, I would like to share very nice information, that is called as Archimedes principle. Okay, before learning actual by statement wise, let me clear that point first. Let me understand and make you understand the concept. You can see so many objects are there. Some object will be float or some object will sink in the liquid. Okay, suppose this is bucket of water. Okay, in this suppose I have poured one plastic bottle, simple plastic bottle. Okay, so what will happen? This plastic bottle, empty plastic bottle, obviously it will start floating. Alright, but what is exactly happening? Suppose same bottle is filled with water. Obviously what will happen? This will become heavy, and heavy means what? It will having more density in it, right? So it will sink at bottom, right? So by same time what will happen? Some amount of water will displace. Let me clear this point. Any object on the water body, if it is floating, it means some force obviously it will exert on the bottle to lift it up. Okay, so that force basically called as buoyant force. This basically called as buoyant force, and even is called as upthrust. Upthrust. So always that one kind of force will be acting or exerted by the liquid, given liquid. That force always want to lift something, and that force by the liquid is called as upthrust or even called as buoyant force. Buoyant force. In your syllabus, up to the upthrust they has mentioned. It's called as upthrust. Upthrust. So lifting the object up, it is the tendency of given liquid. It is called as the upthrust. Okay, this concept you should be learning. And now afterwards we will go towards the real Archimedes principle. Okay, if you have understood this concept, what is upthrust? So the pressure exerted by the given liquid upward direction force, that is called as upthrust by that liquid. Okay, now the thing is what Archimedes says. Archimedes says very simple statement. He said, any body partially or wholly, if immersed into the water, if immersed in a liquid, experience an upward force, which is called as upthrust, and which is equal in magnitude to the weight of the liquid displaced by the body. Okay, so I would like to give the same information written. So now let's have a look what Archimedes says. He says, according to this principle, anybody partially or wholly immersed in a liquid experiences an upward force, that upward force known as upthrust, which is equal in magnitude to the weight of the liquid which displaced by the body. This is very common example. In earlier session, I said you one story in which the Archimedes basically was having challenge to find out whether the given crown of the king is pure or not. So he have found this thing that any kind of object, maybe it is gold, maybe it is silver, maybe it is any kind of metal. When you are immersing into the liquid, some amount of water will spill out, right? So that spelled out water will give you clear picture how much was the force by the given liquid. All right, I have shown even the practically, I have shown you by means of practical with the help of overflow can. We have done that activity and we have seen, after suppose this is the knob, okay, from this whatever object you will immerse, what will happen, some amount of water will spill out. So that amount, if you are collecting in any measuring cylinder, you will come to know how much force it was exerted by the liquid. Okay, now in this case, in this statement, they have said that any object which is partly, not fully but partly, or wholly full body is immersing inside the liquid, that time what will happen, due to the upthrust, some amount of liquid will come out, will spill out, right? So by that way, you can say that weight of spilled liquid will be exactly equal to the force applied by the liquid for the upthrust, right? So that can be calculated. I hope you understood. You need to read this statement thrice or 4 times, 5 times, right? We will understand this thing. Anybody partly or wholly immersed in a liquid experiences an upward force called as upthrust, which is equal in magnitude to the weight of the liquid displaced by the body. So this is the statement given by scientist Archimedes, and yes, he was very brilliant. He has given this idea. Our work is to just study it and to understand this thing. Okay, I hope you will read your textbook very well, because textbook anyhow going to be your really good friends. Now, learning after this Archimedes principle, you need to study its basic application. In ICSE syllabus, in whatever exams you will be facing, I am telling about board exam, right? There, direct question you will not get, like whatever given question in examples or in exercises. You may get questions on application, how you will apply this given document in your real life, how you will correlate it, right? So by that way we will solve some examples also, numericals also, but I want you all to get involved in that. Read your textbook very nicely. Next one what we are going to study is here given last one content of the chapter, that is international load line, also called as Plimsoll line. So here is the definition what I have given. I have written here international load line. It is also called as Plimsoll line. Okay, where this line will be first of all. So we are speaking now about the ships which are carrier for goods. Goods means what? Whatever the goods inside the ship, they have to exchange or they have to export to other country or other place, right? So basically these ships will be having very big kind of volume. It's not like in some meters, it will be in more meters, right? So I would like to share information. If you have the boats, the ships for the purpose of wars and all, it's called as Yuddha Nauka, right? So as per I have visited one place where Goa Shipyard Limited, Vasco. So there they will be having this boat, and first time I was looking at the boat, the ship was having length around 100 meters, and the name of that ship was Virat, right? And I was surprised to see the interior inside the ship. For us it is just like any no wooden kind of vessel which is having specific shape, and we are sending it into the sea ocean, but internally it is having very complex kind of interior, having all kind of activities. These are going on inside the boat only, right? Because they have to travel so many months for the so many months from one place to other. So I said only one example for that Yuddha Nauka, and it was having 100 meters. But same wise, these all good carriers, public good carriers also, they will be having huge shape, huge volume, right? So they need to get it very scientifically. The design should be very scientifically, right? So volume you are getting. Okay, but what mass, how much mass should be poured inside, how much goods you can pour in, that should be having some clear idea to that person who is pouring that, right? So otherwise what will happen, if more mass is embedded, then surely this vessel, this device going to sink into the water, right? So for that sake, no businessmen, they had to, this merchants have to think about first of all the mass of the object, how much weight they can pour in the ship. Secondly, what season they are going, in which season they are going to the specific place, right? Why season? Because even seawater will be having salt water. So the density will differ from winter to season, whatever the summer, right? So they should think about the season, which season is going on. And third thing, they should notice that what kind of water it is, what kind of water, properties of water. Suppose they are going by means of river, it will be having fresh water. So fresh water again having different density. So for this all purpose, they should mention plimsoll line or international load line on the hull of the ship. This is the hull. Hull means what? External body of the ship. On that they should mention this line specifically. Okay, so I hope you understood the reason why they have to mention this plimsoll line, right? So here we'll have look on definition of the same. Okay, plimsoll line also called as international load line. It is a reference mark. It is a reference mark located on a ship's hull that indicates the maximum depth to which the vessel may be safely immersed in the water when loaded with cargo. Cargo means goods. जहाँ पे हम लोग बोल सकते हैं कि माल, कितना माल आप लोग लोड कर सकते हो उस शिप में, उसको बोलते हैं कार्गो. दैट इज कार्गो, माल. Okay, cargo means in English we can say it is goods. Alright, so this was the definition. I hope you understood. Now the thing is how this season and water type is that much important for these markings, right? So I would share one very interesting information by the diagram shown here. Okay, international load line or plimsoll line will be having markings like this. It is depend on your ship to other, like ship wise is depend, right? On the ship, considering its volume and density, they may give you these kind of markings, reference markings. First one, TF. What is TF? It is like in fresh water, tropical fresh water. If you are moving towards tropical fresh water up to this mark, you can load your whatever cargo is there. Okay, next one, F. It means fresh water. If the device, if the ship is going towards that fresh water, then this will be the marking. As you can see, fresh water will be having less density than that of salt water. I will come to this point afterwards. Okay, so this tropical fresh water, this is fresh water. One more thing, that is S, salt water. Then next one is W. It is the water. See, these all are types of the water. This is the region WNA. This is for North America or North Atlanta. This is depend on that country. Okay, because the weather condition will be so differ from each other. All right, and next one, last one here. Like whatever your condition you can apply, because it depends. This ship is going towards which kind of place. On that basis, they have to mention here this reference mark. Up to what level they can immerse that load. Okay, now it's very important thing I would like to share. I hope these all things are understood. Okay, now I would like to share some interesting numericals so that you will be very happy to solve it in real life. Maybe they will useful for you. But especially I will solve the numericals from your exercise. It may help you. Okay. So here are some numericals, and children, one thing very important in this chapter. In this chapter you have got only one formula, that is density always equal to mass divided by volume. Okay, on that basis only you have to convert the given values. For example, let's check out with first one numerical. Okay, you want to carry a boulder home from the beach. It is 30 centimeter on each side, so has volume 27,000 cubic centimeter. Density directly they have mentioned, density they have given 2.8 gram per cubic centimeter, and they ask you what will be its mass. Right, so one formula but three type. I have said you last session also that you can convert these same values. Now if they have asked you about mass, see the method to solve all numerical. First one, you should mention all the given values. What is given? Volume is given. It is 27,000 cubic centimeter. Then after they has mentioned the density directly. D is equal to 2.8 gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, now up to this information is all, everything is here. Now times to use the formula, right? We know the formula basically. D density is equal to m by v, but here they have not asked you density directly, they have asked you the mass. So what will be the formula for mass? Mass, it will be equal to the dv. dv means what? Given density into volume. Okay, dV. As per that, let us insert the value. Density is 2.8 into volume, they have mentioned 27,000 cubic centimeter. So if here, if you know the table, 28th table, that will be very easy for you, and you will get the answer. I think 75,600. Okay, now actual answer it will be like if you know the basic table of 28, you will get answer like this, right? But 2.8 it is, so after one digit you need to give 1 point, so it will come exactly 75,600. Now they have asked you the mass, right? Mass is this much. While giving unit, what you need to understand, directly go for density, and the given value of density is in gram per centimeter cube. Then if it is mass, only this gram you should mention here, because mass we are measuring in grams. So this is the answer. Now suppose they ask you write the answer in SI unit, then what you will do? You have to convert this value into SI. Simple it is, because the whatever given answer is in gram, if you want to make it into kilogram, what you need to do? You have to just divide the answer with 1000. 75,600 divided by 1000 will give you idea, give you answer in kilograms. How it will be? 0 cancelled by this, cancelled, 10 is remaining. 10 means what? After one digit you need to give 1 point. So 756 remaining values from this, right? And divided by 10 means whenever you are dividing with 10, after one digit you need to give only 1 point. Here is answer. Answer is in the kgs. So this was the first numerical what we have solved. You need to check it out once again. Alright. So now we will move further and we will check out for the second numericals answer. Let's check first of all what is the question. They have asked you, if a rock need to weigh around 2000 kgs to not be shifted by waves, how big does it need to be? If density is also given directly, they have said 3200 kilogram per cubic meter. Now first case, how to solve the numerical? you need to write down the all given values. So here the given values are density, that is 3200, okay, 3200 kilogram per cubic meter. Next one they have mentioned about weight, means what here, mass in kgs, right? So mass is 2000 kg. And what they want you to find out, they asking you for volume. What will be the volume? We know only one formula, that is density is equal to mass divided by volume. So if I want to find out volume, the formula will be mass divided by density. Mass divided by density. Your work is only to insert the values. From this numerical, this is the basic thing. You get to know only the basic required formula. Write it down and insert the value. Mass is 2000 divided by density 3200, means 3200, right? 0 will get cancelled, this 0 also will get cancelled. Whatever remaining value, you need to find out the answer, and answer will be yes 0.625. But here children listen, if you are finding out the volume, you need to specifically mention the unit. For that, just go directly towards the density. It is mentioned in kilogram per cubic meter. So volume we are measuring in cubic meter. This will be the answer. Okay. Now these two answers we have found. Now one more is remaining, and that is really very interesting. Okay, I want you to just check out these both of the answers very carefully, because wherever the answer is asked in SI unit or in CGS unit, as per that you should be able to change your answer as per the requirement. There they asked directly in meter cube. Answer only it was in SI unit, so no worries. But here it was previously in CGS unit. We have converted it in SI unit. Okay. Now next one is remaining. We'll enjoy that. Okay. The numerical. So children, in your textbook, the last one numerical, which is very interesting and based on your application knowledge. Okay, so I have written here in shortcut, but let me read for you, and I hope you are also having your textbook right now with you. It is a golden colored cube is handed to you, golden colored. The person wants you to buy it for 1 lakh, saying that it is a gold nugget. You pull out your chemistry textbook and look up gold in the mineral table and read that its density is 19.3 cubic centimeter gram per cubic centimeter. You measure the cube and find that it is 2 centimeter on each side and weighs 40 gram. What is its density? Is it gold? Should you buy? Okay, this is a very interesting question, and you can apply your knowledge in your day-to-day life by this way. Okay, what things are needed to find out? Children, any kind of metal, maybe it is gold, silver, as I said you earlier, all metal will be having their specific density. As per that, the density of the gold always will be 19.3 gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, now what we need to do? We need to find out the given cube, as it is cube having all sides same. They have mentioned each side was 2 centimeter. From that information, we can find out the volume of the given cube. That is, first, we can measure its weight, and that was 40 grams, right? We need to find out first of all the given cube's density. If its density will matches with density of pure gold, then we can say it is pure gold, or else you should not make that foolishness to buy that cube for 1 lakh. Alright, so let's get started with solving this. What is given information? First one, they have given density of the gold, that is same, anyhow it will be same, it will remain same for any kind of numerical. Density of gold is fixed, that is 19.3 gram per cubic centimeter. Okay, what is given thing? This cube having sides 2 centimeter, right? So it will help us to find out the volume of that cube. So volume is equal to side into side into side. Everywhere 2, 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. What is 8? 8 will be cubic centimeter. Okay, and third one, the information is 40 gram. What is that 40 gram? It weights, means its mass contain 40 grams. Okay, this is the information. Now this information you have got from your textbook. Suppose this is the information and your given cube, that cube is having this much of things that we know. We need to find out whether its density will come correctly as like density of the gold or not. This will decide whether the given cube is pure gold or not. Okay, let's start with that. Density of the given cube is formula mass by volume. Mass is 40 grams and volume is 8 cubic centimeter. As per this, 8 1s are 8. You should remember the table. Answer will come 8 5s are 40. 8 1s are 8, 8 5s are 40. So 5. Density is coming only 5. 5 what here? It should be gram per cubic centimeter. Right? If it is coming only gram, this answer 5 gram per cubic centimeter does not equal to density of pure gold. It should come actually 19.3 gram per cubic centimeter. It doesn't matching. So you should mention the statement, it is not a pure gold. It is not a pure gold, and after all you should not purchase that impure gold, right? So this is the answer, and this kind of question you may get for your upcoming exam. I want you to prepare for these type of questions. All right, so whether you should not get confused after looking at that problem. Somebody of you will tell that ma'am, they have given density also, they have given volume and mass also. What is our work then? Read the problem nicely, carefully, and you will get that what exactly they want you to do. Okay, so by this way we have solved some important numericals from the chapter. Here I am declaring that the chapter is finished. I hope you understood, and I want you to find out each and every question's answer from the textbook. My super line for you all, that is, textbooks are your really best friends. Whatever queries, you will get all the answer from the textbook. Okay, so let's have the look on the chapter again. Okay, we will recall the chapter one more time so that your ideas will get clear. So children, in this chapter, let's have a recall or flashback in only 1 minute. That is, we have studied about the density. And what is density? It is the ratio of the mass of a body to its volume. So that the formula will be mass divided by volume. Next one, the SI and CGS unit, right? So in CGS unit, we used to write it in centimeter per, in CGS I am telling, CGS centimeter, it will be used for the length or volume, and in SI unit the volume will be measured in cubic meter, and here cubic centimeter. So by that way you will get the answer for total density. Okay, so the CGS unit density you can say in gram per cubic centimeter, and you will say in SI it is kilogram per cubic meter. All right, after that we have studied about the Archimedes principle. Okay, that we have seen any object, any kind of body, partly or wholly, if it is immersing into the water object or liquid, that some force will be applied. Force can apply on that body, that is called as upthrust. Okay, this upward force called as upthrust, which is equal in magnitude to the weight of the liquid dispersed by the body. Afterwards, we have seen about the international load line with specific reference marks, right? And now it's time to make your homework. And I want you to make this homework in your homework book. Question number 1, what is plimsoll line? Secondly, calculate the volume of wood has dimension 5 centimeter, 8 centimeter and 15 centimeter and mass 1300 kg. Find its density, and last one, what is Archimedes principle? Do it in your homework book only.